Welcome to the August 2023 Las Vegas Real Estate Report. In this video, I'm going to cover the July Las Vegas area housing stats, my current market assessment, what is really going on in our local market for buyers, sellers, or if you need to do both. The question on everybody's mind, when are mortgage rates actually going to come down again? Are they ever going to come down again? And what we think is one of the biggest opportunities, and has been all year, in this uncertain market with the interest rates, and that's new build opportunities. More on that. My name's Jan O'Brien, along with my co-team leader, Cosmo Morabbi. We have a team of local area experts covering all parts of the Valley, Las Vegas, North Las Vegas, Boulder City. We cover Henderson and even Pahrump. Make sure you reach out to one of our team members here who might have sent this to you. We're here for all your Las Vegas area real estate needs. All right, let's dive into the numbers for July 2023. As always, I'm just reporting single family homes as reported to the Las Vegas Realtors. So what did we have last month? Median sales price moved up to $450, which is down 3% year over year. And that's why I like to show you this chart. I like to take a look at what happened in 2022. So basically the last 18 months of data is here for us. So you can see we started the year at 435. We hit a peak at 482 last year. That is when the interest rates first went out over 6%. And this is where in most parts of the country, and definitely here, we saw a real pause in the market where a lot of buyers went to the sidelines and said, I'm going to wait for things like the market to crash, which of course, as it hasn't happened. If anything, we've gone down and adjusted and we went up again, as I'll show you. Or I'm waiting for the interest rates to come down. Well, I'm going to show you where the interest rates have come and where they're going. And I think it's going to be next year before we really see these interest rates come down. But doesn't mean that there's not opportunities in the market. And I will get to that near the end of the video. So hang in there with me. So we hit a high of 482, historical high for Las Vegas. More sellers decided to stay put, enjoy that sub 3 interest rate that they got in the COVID times here. And why not, right? Unless you have to move. And that's what we're seeing is people that have to move or really want to move or are being relocated or have other good reasons to move. Those are the homes that are on the market, which is why we have a low inventory, not as low as it was during COVID, but it's considerably low. So 482, and what do we do? What do we see? It slid down until 425 at the end of the year. Then we stayed steady for about 3 months, and we've been going up ever since. 430, 442, 449.90, essentially 441 last June, 2 months ago, and last month up to 450. Now, I always just look at the median sales price in comparison. Solds have been staying kind of constant, which means how many people put their homes under contract and then actually closed on them has been in the 22, right around 2,000 to 2,200 in the last 3 or 4 months. New listings also remaining steady, and then the availability going down. So there's still people that are out buying homes, not as many as there were a year ago. But since there's not as much inventory, we're still selling homes. And what we're finding is, of course, if the properties are in desirable areas, they're in great condition, and they're well priced, they're selling quickly, and sometimes having multiple offers. It's a real mixed market, both in resale and new homes. Properties that are listed for sale and need renovation and need work, a lot of buyers are passing on those because everybody wants to be able to move in and not undertake the renovations. A small percentage of people are willing to do that. So our available inventory also tells a story. We started the beginning of this year, January, with 5,450 homes on the market at the end of January. This is what this number represents at the end of the reporting period. How many homes were on the market without an offer? Well, we've gone from 5,450 steadily declining. Let me go back to that. To where we've been kind of staying steady in the last several weeks and months, right around 3,600, slipped a little bit to 3,524 homes. So let's take a look at that from this perspective. The same information as in that last graph. It's just a visual representation to see how we hit that peak in May of last year. Interest rates jumping up was the indicator that had us slide back down, where we basically went to the end of the year where at 425, which is where we were in December of 2021. then it flatlined, and now it increased. It stayed flat for 2 months in a row, and now we've seen an increase again. And everything's pointing to staying at or a little bit above 450 as I record this on August 20th right now, that this is definitely not going to go down. If anything, it's going to stay flat, if not go up a little bit based on all the stats we're seeing. So let's talk about mortgage rates. What's happening? Well, this is a historical mortgage rates daily from Mortgage News Daily. And I'm just going back to 727. And I just want to point out, if it's red, it means it went up. If it's green, it went down. And they move in daily in minor tenths of a point. But you can see since 727, as I've depicted it here, we've been over 7%. I think it didn't go back under 7. It got really close one day here, 7.04. Here's another 7.04. And then it's been steadily going up. Now, what's causing this? Well, it's 7.48 as I record today on August 20. And this is with no points to bring the interest rate down. This is just Mortgage News Daily does a daily survey of lenders across the country, and they post this as a great source of information if you're interested in tracking what's going on in the mortgage industry. They not only just post the rates, they tell the story, and they usually help everybody understand. And frankly, I think they've gotten a little bit confused themselves as to why the rates haven't been coming down. Well, in a nutshell, they're not just tied to the Fed rate. The mortgage rates are going to, if the mortgage industry is feeling that the Fed is going to adjust that short-term rate, they will already bake that into it. They don't react generally to the Fed adjusting that interest rate right away. They do it prior. They make the adjustments based on inflation, economics, reports, what's happening nationally, what's happening in the world, what's happening with mortgage-backed securities and trading on those. And I just pulled this from an article from the 11th. Rates are officially breaking the rules, but why? This article went on to talk about, generally we follow when there's news about, for example, the last month, the inflation went from 3.1 to 3.2. So it was not considerably higher, the CPI report, considerably higher, but not considerably higher, not lower. So obviously the Fed is talking about we're all being resilient, right? What's happening is people are being resilient. The housing market is being resilient. People are still going out and spending money. The housing market is not necessarily coming down. If anything, prices are going up. People are okay with paying the gas prices went up again recently after going down again. People are paying the increased grocery prices. So in a nutshell, this new reality of these rates hovering in the sevens are going to stay in place until one of three things happen. And I really kind of agree with this. Annual core inflation makes it back near 2% right now, 3.2 as it was reported if we're just comparing the same chart, the same index. Or the economy starts showing more serious signs of stress, actual signs of recession. It's almost like things have to get bad before rates get better, right? It's counterintuitive, but that's the reality. Or something completely unprecedented and unexpected results in the U.S. government taking in higher revenue, spending less money, or some kind of crazy thing that we haven't had happen, okay? So who knows? Bottom line, the pressure is there. The rates are staying high to put the pressure on things cooling down, allowing inflation to get back under control, where we will see the rates come down. The question is when. Some of the experts are saying by the end of the year. I think it depends each week and month on the jobs report, what happens in the other reports that are happening, what's going on with the mortgage-backed securities and the T-bill, how it's trading, and what happens with inflation as we get those reports. And of course, what the Fed does to do all that. So I'd expect the rates to stay here and hopefully sometime next year. Of course, we're in an election year, so all bets off. Who knows what's going on, but we project, most experts are projecting that the interest rates will come down. Now, all that to say, and I'll talk about that when I get to opportunities. Let me talk about foreclosures for a moment, because this always comes up and a lot of people keep hearing headlines. You read the headlines that say, the housing market's going to, I've been hearing this for a year now. The housing market's going to crash and this is going to happen. And right now it's the supply and demand. It's not crashing for the reasons I'm going to show you right here. Foreclosure short sales, 0.8% actually went down in July compared to June, where it was 1.2. 0.8% of all the existing local property sales in July were distressed. Okay. Now, this chart over here just is the first 6 months of every year back to 2008. Here's, of course, the Great Recession. Here's where we had the foreclosure crisis, right? And as we were coming through that and out of it, so this is annual. This is not just Las Vegas. This is US data. Why in 2021 were there only 65,000? Well, that's when we were in the middle of COVID here, and there was a mortgage moratorium, foreclosure moratorium, and it took a little while for that to get resolved. Many people work things out. There are still people that are behind for sure, but it's nowhere near regular years, not just these bad recession years. The Great Recession that we had with the foreclosure crisis and the mortgage craziness. We're nowhere near those numbers right now. And there's a couple reasons for it. 39% of all people own their house free and clear across the country. 29% of people have at least 50% equity, and 32% have less than 50% equity. So for sure, there will always be people that either take their equity out of their home on second mortgages, or they get into scenarios where they lose their job or whatever and get behind in their payments. That's always going to be part of it, and it could tick up and it may tick up. But most homeowners have equity. There are tighter lending standards nowadays than there were back then when anybody could get a loan. The market could absorb new listings, okay? Many people, if they do get behind, since they have some equity, are not in a short sale situation where they're upside down, will simply put their homes on the market to at least cash out what they do have. And we did increase, obviously, to see an increase after the moratorium, which is what we're seeing here into late 2022 and 2023. So don't expect a ton of foreclosures to come on the market, and what does come on the market can certainly get absorbed. So opportunities, where are some opportunities in the market? If you've been following along here, and if not, please follow, subscribe to the channel here on YouTube. We definitely are doing our best to give you what is going on, our perspective. I've been in the market here for 31 years. This is the most mixed markets I've seen. I mean, I've lived through the foreclosure crisis to really extreme buyers markets to obviously extreme seller market. Many people will tell you we're still in a seller's market. I say we're in a mixed opportunity market, and it really depends. And here's what I mean by that. So let me talk about new builds first. All year long and since last year, we've been reporting on great opportunities for new homes. There are 20 plus national builders in the Las Vegas area. There's really about 27 builders, but 20 or so of them you have definitely heard of around and build around the country in multiple markets. There are 240 communities amongst those 27 builders to choose from. So obviously they have multiple communities, and even if they open up a new community, they may have several collections within that community. And they're all throughout the valley. They're usually on the outskirts of the valley, from North Las Vegas to the way far northwest, all the way around. There are opportunities in Summerlin. In the southwest, there's a ton of building going on. Not as much in Henderson. There's opportunities in Inspirata, opportunities out in Cadence, and there are new builds in Boulder City, and there are definitely some new builds out in Pahrump. So there are builders currently offering incentives. So the opportunities for buyers, and this is what we're trying to help people see, is it's 7% interest rate. You don't want to buy a house, but what if you could get 4.99? We just helped a buyer today, as a matter of fact, get into a townhome that is at $369. They're going to get $25,000 in incentives from the builder, moving in 45 days. $25,000 that's going to allow them to get an interest rate down to about 4.99 and get all their closing costs covered. Okay, so there are opportunities, but not across the board. There are builders in town. I said mixed market. There are builders in town that are controlling how many homes that they're putting out there. They're building specs and putting them out there. They can control the inventory a little bit better that way. There is demand, and there's a waiting list. So there's a waiting list, and a lot of people will fall off the waiting list. So it's not like it's taking forever to get a home, but we have builders in town that have waiting lists. We have builders that have quick move-in inventory, and they're willing to deal, and we know how to negotiate and get extra things covered for you if the property needs to get moved. So here's just an example of a few of them that are offering right now opportunities. This is a 3-1 buy down, 5.375, 5.5. These are fixed interest rates. So below the current, and this is like as of knowing that the interest rates they might change these because we went up to like 7.48 and we're around 7.3. 7.2, but just trust me on this. The builders are going to all the builders in even a strong market still offer some incentives when you use their preferred lender. They're offering even deeper incentives, and they are attracting people to come work with them, which is why you'll see prices start to increase a little bit here, but they're offering some great deals. And we know where these opportunities are around the Valley. We sell a lot of new homes, and we have a lot of great connections with the local sales reps who know that we work with qualified buyers, and they'll let us know when deals fall out and so on. So definitely, if you're interested in knowing more, reach out to myself, Cosmo, or any member of our team. So seller opportunities. Well, again, you're probably not going to put your home on the market if you're listening to this, if you don't have a really good reason to move, or you don't want to go, for example, take advantage of one of those new build opportunities. Then you may be hanging in there and waiting out the storm. So what I will say is, if you're thinking of selling, we've already gone over the numbers in the peak, and we're kind of creeping up here a little bit again. But I will tell you that if your property is updated and well maintained and not overpriced, it sells quickly, and possible multiple offers. A recent listing, we had 2 offers in one day, okay, at or above list, okay. If you need to sell then buy, we may be able to help negotiate that for you, especially with new home opportunities that are out there. So make sure you reach out. We're happy to do analysis specifically for your situation, and honestly tell you, should you just wait? Do you want to hang in there? Do you want to take advantage of being able to buy now and then get and lock in an opportunity in a new or a resale home? Because we definitely have had prices go back up again. So buyer opportunities. Well, here's the bottom line. I'm going to say it again. If you have the ability to purchase now and you can deal with the payment, or if you want to work with us and see if we can negotiate on your behalf with a resale to get some closing costs covered, so maybe you can buy your interest rate down. We definitely feel we can do that with new homes. And then you may want to consider buying, because what a lot of people are saying is, I'm going to wait until the interest rates come down, and then I'm going to jump into the market. Well, if you do that, and you and a lot of other people who are sitting on the sidelines do that, it is simple economics, folks. Supply and demand. All of a sudden, increased demand, not enough inventory, only means prices are going to go up. You're going to get back with more competition when the rates come down, more buyers and investors jumping back into the market, and having more than 2 or 3 offers like we just had today for a buyer. We wrote an offer over the weekend, and there's already 3 offers above list. Okay. But when there's way more people back in the market, we're going to get back to 5 and 10 and 12 offers and 20 offers, because now everybody wants to jump back in because the rates aren't 7.5 anymore, or 7.48. They're 5 point something or 6 point something. So multiple offers are happening based on condition and price and desirable locations. There are opportunities out there, but you have to be willing to take a home that might need some renovation. I'm not talking about fixer-uppers. I'm just talking about dated flooring and bathrooms, and people will walk in and go, wow, I got to put $30,000 into the house. That's where there's opportunities. And sometimes there's opportunities that homes have been sitting on the market for us to be able to negotiate a better price and or terms or costs covered to help you get that interest rate down. And I just talk to you about the new builds. The opportunities are in the spec homes, the quick move-ins for certain builders who have the inventory, and we know where those opportunities are. So you just have to reach out to us, and we're here to help you. Again, we are happy to do a consultation specific to you to help consult with you about, should you wait? Should you look now? We're happy to give you orientations around the Valley. Just reach out to us. We're here for all your real estate needs here in the Las Vegas Valley. That does it for the August 2023 Real Estate Report. I'm Jan O'Brien. We'll see you next week with an update on what's happening in this market.